Prince of Darkness is a 1987 horror movie directed by John Carpenter, and it stars Donald Pleasence and Victor Wong. And this film is essentially about a priest who discovers this thing in a church, and he has to try and figure out what it is and how to stop it from releasing evil. So he gets Victor Wong and a couple of scientists to try and figure out what it is and how to stop it. So Prince of Darkness is another John Carpenter movie that I hadn't seen before. I don't know why it's taken me so long to see this movie. It's just one of the ones that just slipped under the radar all these years, but because I'm watching horror movies this week that I'd never seen before, big horror movies that I've never seen before, I thought now is the time to give this movie a chance. After watching In the Mouth of Madness the other day, I felt a little bit underwhelmed by that film, so I was hoping for bigger things for Prince of Darkness. It was filmed 7 or so years before In the Mouth of Madness, so I thought to myself that as an 80s John Carpenter movie, hopefully it's going to be a little bit better, and it was a lot better than In the Mouth of Madness for me personally. Straight off the bat, I liked the cinematography for this one. It felt like it was back to basics for John Carpenter. It wasn't that really bad wide angle lens shots that he used for In the Mouth of Madness. He had that nice, beautiful, subtle wide angle shots that he did for the likes of Halloween and The Fog. He carried that over to Prince of Darkness, so that was good. The score as well, the score again was fantastic. It felt like a classic 80s John Carpenter score. I had a little bit of Big Trouble in Little China in it, and that helped obviously with the two cast members, Victor Wong and Dennis Dunn. Alice Cooper's in this movie as well. I felt that Alice Cooper was underutilised in this film. We only see him a few times, and the times that we did see him, I actually quite enjoyed. He doesn't speak in this film. He is one of the homeless people throughout the film, and I think that the homeless people aspect of this film was really good. It took us away from that scientific part of the film that I didn't enjoy too much. The scientific parts were a little bit boring to me. They had a lot of mumbo jumbo that was unnecessary. Things that the viewer probably wouldn't understand, or things that the viewer didn't really care about. I think what the viewer personally cared about most was the creepy aspects with the homeless people, Alice Cooper coming in and taking over, and are these scientists and all the other people going to get away from them? Something that really stood out for me was the practical effects again. John Carpenter's a master of practical effects. Obviously he doesn't do the practical effects, but he gets people on board to do great practical effects, and the makeup again was fantastic in this. I loved how these people were turning in. We don't know if they were aliens or monsters or whatever, or demons, but they were turning, their skin was turning into like this rotten flesh, their eyes were scary. It was great. I liked the makeup and the practical effects. Something I found confusing about this film was every time we see them looking up at the sun, was that the moon above them, like there was going to be an eclipse? I wasn't too sure, because if you go to the 24th minute, you see them all looking up at the sun and apparently the moon having an eclipse effect. And then if you look behind the church, you also see the moon in the daytime as well. So if it was supposed to be an eclipse, we have two moons. Now, aside from Dennis Dunn and Victor Wong having that Big Trouble in Little China vibe to them, especially with the score as well, because again the score for me felt like a little bit like Big Trouble in Little China. That was good. I liked that aspect. But with Donald Pleasence, there was two issues that I had with Donald Pleasence in this film. He was advertised as being the main character, and he probably was one of the main characters, but it felt to me like he only came on screen when there was something important that had to be done, or something important that had to be said. So he was an important character because of that, but apart from that, he never really done anything else. He was just there in the background and not doing anything, not saying anything. So I think he was underutilised in this film personally. He was good in the film, good acting, but another thing that I had an issue with was, and I think it's because I watched Halloween first, was it just felt like he was Dr. Loomis in a priest's outfit. Maybe if he grew his beard a little bit bigger or shaved completely, I don't know, it would just maybe feel and look like a different character to Dr. Loomis. But to me, he just looked and felt like Dr. Loomis, and obviously his accent was the exact same as well. So it wasn't a bad thing, it's just something I picked up on where I just couldn't get Dr. Loomis out of my head. Spoiler alert for those of you who haven't saw this, but I think that the ending of this film was really good. We did have a slow burn throughout the film. We had some unnecessary scenes with the scientific parts, etc. But I think when the film got going and everybody started to get taken over by these things, by these inhumans, I think that's where things started to pick up the pace. But at the very end, there was a character called Catherine, who was one of the main characters, who she sacrificed herself in a really epic way, and not much was said about it after she sacrificed herself. Her love interest, Brian, at the very end of the film, he had this dream that she was coming back as one of these demons, because we did see some of that happen throughout the film, that we didn't see who it was just a silhouette. It turns out at the very end that Catherine was this silhouette. She came out, and he woke up and he's like, oh, thank God that was just a dream, and he turned around and Catherine was there in his bed. Again, it was an epic ending, and I think it was a good classic John Carpenter ending. Overall, guys, I had a lot of fun with this film. It was a lot better, in my opinion, than In the Mouth of Madness. I think Prince of Darkness lived up to its expectations. I wasn't expecting much for it because of what I thought of In the Mouth of Madness. I was pleasantly surprised. I did say that there was a little bit of scientific mumbo jumbo that kind of took me away from the film at points, but with that, there was a good payoff for each of those scenes, so it kind of balanced it out. So yeah, it was a good film. Apart from the scientific parts, I did like the horror elements of the film. So have you seen Prince of Darkness, guys? If you have, as always, let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. And as always, thanks a lot for watching, thanks for subscribing. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.